Welcome, guys. This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. This is your Rangers news channel, and I am Owen James, your host, guys. It is time to talk all things Rangers yet again. Another video, and for this time, let's talk of some solutions, some strategies, some possibilities. Now, am I an expert? No, of course I'm not. I'm nowhere near an expert. And does Phillipe Clement listen to me? Of course he doesn't listen to me. But because I'm a fan, I have opinions, and we all have opinions. Yes, we have opinions that are different. Yes, we all disagree sometimes. And as long as we keep that respectful, then I can't see an issue with that. Look, I think we all understand that things are not perfect at the club at this moment in time. Far from it. No matter what the situation is after that game on Sunday, things are not great. Look, the rebuild or so-called rebuild had didn't really materialise it in the way we all hoped it would due to a lack of funds. Andy McCoist himself, talking on TalkSport this morning, talked about financial difficulties at Rangers. He said there must be some sort of financial issues there. He says, given the fact that obviously they haven't been able to spend a lot of money this window, which, is fairly accurate. I think, that we don't have a great deal of money, and we all know why we don't have a great deal of money at this moment in time. Poor financial decisions taken in the past, poor contractual decisions taken in the past, and players who are potentially worth an awful lot of money, which can be, obviously that's a way to generate money from player sales, as we've seen from our neighbours across the city. Have been allowed to walk for absolutely nothing. I mean, if you take Morelos, Kent, Helander, Lundstrom, Barisic, people like that, you've got players that would have actually brought in a reasonable sum of money for, and actually, really swelled the coffers of Rangers and given us an opportunity to really go out there and compete for some better players than perhaps we've managed to sign in this window. So that's where we're at. I mean, that is where we're at. So, what are solutions? What are ways around this issue? Now, before we talk about that, there was some kind of caveat good news. There we go. That's John Bennett's favourite word, John Caveat Bennett. We are returning to Ibrox. Fantastic news. Obviously, the stadium works are underway. You can see there are still a fair few missing seats in the Copeland Road stand. There are still a few seats missing. They still obviously will not be fully done by the date of the next home game. This was the statement where they said that Rangers would be returning to play at Ibrox against Dundee on the 21st. However, they did issue a caveat. Yes, it wouldn't be Rangers without a caveat. It wouldn't be, let's face it, some John Bennett news without a bit of caveat on it. Excluding the Copeland stand, where the final concourse and seating work are ongoing, all areas of our home will be open for this match, the Dundee game. Season ticket holders from the Copeland stand will be offered an exclusive window to purchase seating elsewhere. So if you are a season ticket holder in the Copeland stand, you will have an opportunity to purchase tickets in other areas of Ibrox. Look, is it the ideal solution? Of course it isn't. Should this ground be finished by now? Of course it bloody should. But as we know, with all these big capital projects, we do know there is a fair deal of overrunning and slow work goes on, and after a day of leaning on your shovel looking at your mobile phone, it does slow things down, doesn't it? Perhaps that's just my experience from seeing people working on the roads or not working, as the case may be. Anyway, so look, at least we're going home. We're returning. No more Hamden. No more horrible ham dump. We're back where we belong, back at Ibrox. And I think obviously once the Copeland stand is finished, then that will make it even better. It will be truly, truly back to the atmosphere that we all know and we all need, I think. And look, I mean, it isn't the sole reason we perhaps haven't started the season as well as we could have done. Not been at home. Our real home does hurt, I think, especially in Europe, where Ibrox is the 12th man. We know that. And I think, obviously, heading home to Ibrox is very good news for the club. But, it's not the whole story, is it? We know there's a number of substantial weaknesses, tactical issues, no shape, no formation, organisation is poor. The players are perhaps not up to the task. The manager is making poor decisions. The board are just a disaster. So we do know there is issues around the club. So what can we do? There is look, we cannot undertake any major rebuilding or any major changes to the club at this point in time. The transfer window is slammed shut. So, what we've got now is what we've got until January. And we all know that January is a notoriously bad window to spend money because of the fact the club that is selling often has the upper hand in January. And also, I can't see us generating a massive amount of income between now and January that will enable us to then go and splash the cash. So what options do we have? What could we do to tweak things, to turn things, to move things around a little bit? Now, for me, I think one of the things that Clement needs to do is become a little bit more flexible in his approach to the game. Be willing to change his formation, to change his shape, and not be rigid in sticking to 4-2-3-1, which I don't think really works. And even with the signing of Nadim Bitrami, I still can't see that formation has been the best suited formation for Rangers. I mean, personally, I'd like to still see us go with a 4-3-3 formation. Now, Badrami can work from the wings and can have just as much influence coming inside. So I think, this is if everyone's fit. Now, we did hear, didn't we, before the international break that everyone was fit, barring Ridvan Yilmaz. Obviously, this we hope that over the international break, even Ridvan can finally return to action. I mean, this is my ideas that I'm kind of putting out there. I mean, you might disagree. You might not like this team. You might not think this team works. That's up to you. And if you don't, obviously, please feel free to disagree in a constructive manner in the comments. But, Jack Butland, look, I know a lot of people have talked about Butland not being great, not whatever. But look, I mean, realistically, you've got zero chance that Liam Kelly replaces Jack Butland unless Jack Butland has some absolute howlers between now and, I don't know, next 3 or 4 games anyway. So I think, we go with Butland in goal still. Dujon Sterling, for me, has to come in at right back. It's time to dump Tav. Tav is just an absolute liability. The guy, his passing is all over the place. He's lost a yard. He just doesn't look interested. He looks disengaged. And look, I think, that fan probably was out of order, saying what he said. But I think that, and I'm not saying he should have done it, but I think what he's saying is reflective of what a lot of fans are actually thinking about the situation at this moment in time with James Tavernier. And as I said on the video yesterday, I don't think it's 100% fair, the situation that James Tavernier is being placed in. The manager's putting him in the firing line and he's not up to the task. Whereas Dujon, we know, is fast, he's strong, his natural position is right back. Give him a chance to play there. I like to see what Casemiro can bring to centre-half. Leon Balogun, for me, has to play at centre-half. Proper looked an absolute bomb scare against Celtic. Slow, dithersome, just not good at all. And Balogun, for me, is the best defender still. I know he's 36. I know he has his injury issues. But for me, Leon Balogun is still the best defender at the club. He still is a defender who gets stuck in. He can bring the ball out from the back. His communication is excellent. His organizational skills are excellent. He's tough. He gets stuck in. He's a fighter. For me, that's, why Balogun. There's another reason why I think Balogun should be going there, but I'm going to bring that one up in a minute, so hang on for that. Ridvan, whether he's back or not, I think we go with Robbie Fraser at left back. Robbie's a very talented player, top player. He can get forward. He can cause a lot of trouble. He's direct. He's got a good left foot on him. For me, he's just a top player, and I like Robbie Fraser. And look, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not I dislike Yefte. I don't. But I just think Robbie deserves his chance. He's come through our academy. He's a Rangers guy. Give him a chance to play. I can't see in any game where Robbie Fraser's played, towards the end of last season or in the limited time he's had this season, where he's let us down ever. So I'd go with Robbie at left back. Midfield 3. I want to see Bailey Rice in the team. It's time to actually use some of these young players. And I want to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So we'll get to the Bailey Rice argument. And let's face it, what position does Bailey Rice play? A 6. What have we not got at the club? Which Clement himself said we've not got at the club. A 6. What was worrying for me in that interview that he gave, where he talked about the options for 6, Barron, Diamande, Raskin. He didn't even mention Bailey Rice. And that for me is a worry. Bailey, when he was at Motherwell, was actually rated higher than Lennon Miller. But difference being Lennon Miller's been given a chance to impress, a chance to play. Bailey's never been given a chance. Why? What is it with Bailey Rice that Clement doesn't like? I'd give Bailey a go. I really would. Barron obviously has to play, top player. I don't think he's 6 is his best position. I think he's an 8. I think he's more forward-thinking midfielder. Let's give him a bit of license to get up and get supportive of Diamande. Give Diamande and Barron a bit more license to get up, but they can also work back. And I think a flat 3 in midfield would work a lot better than what we're seeing at the moment. Badrami and Cortez out wide and coming inside, I think they can be fluid. The thing with that front 3 for me is Danilo is a £6 million centre forward. We need to play him. We need to see what we've got in him. His movement is better than Dessa's. He puts himself about better than Dessa's. He is a better striker than Dessa's. Look back at his career statistics. Look at his goals per game, his goals per 90 minutes, all better than Cyril Dessa's. Yes, Dessa scores against shit teams like Ross County, St Johnstone, whatever. But when it matters against them, he's failed every single time to score a goal that actually matters. So Danilo, for me, has to start. Now, the other thing with that front 3, now, I do watch EPL football, and look, one of the teams that really impressed me, or two of the teams that really impressed me, are Arsenal and Liverpool, and they have a very fluid front three, a front three that doesn't stay in set positions, that moves, that interchanges, that moves about. I mean, if you look at Liverpool, for example, Luis Diaz, Diego Jota, and Mo Salah, for example, or even when Gakpo plays, or Chiesa. They never stay in one set position. Salah never stays wide right. Jota never stays in the middle. Diaz never stays wide left. They interchange all the time. They pop up all over that front three, and having a fluidity and an interchangeability about that front three gives the opposition defense headaches, problems. And when we're going up against a low block, the more movement you've got, the more interchanging positions, the more fluidity you've got in that front three, the more issues you cause that defense in terms of who picks up who. Do I go with my man? Do I leave him? It pulls defenders all over the place. It causes issues. And for me, that front three would be a lot more mobile and offer a lot more problems than the front three we've got. Look, Tierney, he's decent, but he's pretty much a one-trick pony. He wants to come in onto his left foot all the time. He telegraphs it. Teams know, just show him outside because he ain't going to do anything. Show him outside. So, he needs to come up with something new. McCausland, Matondo, not for me. But Cortez, let's see if we can actually get him to get a run in the side. Yes, I know the injuries have been an issue, but let's see. Once he's fit again, can we keep him fit? Can we push him? Can we get him to show the player that he's shown on the odd occasion, like the Hearts game last year? Danilo, like I said, for me, needs to start. Now, in terms of Danilo, like I said, his movement is a hell of a lot better than Cyril Dessers. If you go back to that game, and I hate to mention Ross County after all the stuff that's come around that game, but his movement was absolutely excellent, and he moves all around the back four. He causes them problems. One thing for me about Dessers on Sunday was that he never laid a glove on Carter Vickers or Scales. He never caused them one bit of trouble. Danilo, for me, this guy we paid £6 million for, he was always meant to be our top centre forward. Well, let's use him. Let's see if we've actually got a player in there. If in 6, 10, 12 games time he's still not doing it, then yeah, go back to Dessers, go to Lovelace, go to Igman, go to whoever. But we've got to see what we've got in this lad. He's a £6 million Brazilian centre forward who scored goals in the Eredivisie, for Ajax, for Feyenoord, who's, like I said, whose goals per game, his goals per 90 is better career-wise than Dessers. So for me, he's got to play. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Make changes. Cause the opposition problems. Dessers is too predictable for me. He doesn't hold the ball up. Danilo does. It's a no-brainer. One of the things we saw against Celtic was Dessers repeatedly. The ball bounces off him. When we lump it towards him, he can't win a header in the air. To me, give Danilo that chance. Let's see what this lad's got. He's quicker than Dessers. His movement is very good. Like I said, his eye for a goal is good. He's not afraid to take a long shot. Having watched, when he was signed for us, watched tape and video of him playing for Feyenoord, this is a lad that actually has a lot of talent, a lot of skill. So let's see what we've got in him. One of the things I mentioned as well, I'm going to get to the Leon Balogun point, why Balogun needs to be in the team in a minute. So hang on for that. It involves Tavernier and it involves the captaincy. Bailey and Robbie, I think, get some young Scottish players in there. Get some people that actually give a toss about the team. Get some people in that want to fight for the team, that have got something to prove. And you know what? You might find that these two come in and actually do quite a good job against some of these so-called better teams in the SPL. People have talked about, well, what if the young players let us down against Aberdeen or Celtic or Hearts, or Hearts are crap this year, or, one of those teams. Well, you know what? What if Jefte, Ridvan, Raskan, Tom Lawrence done that's any better than what these two can offer? For me, the argument's nothing. Bailey's a great young player, top young player, knows how to use the ball. He's very positive, forward thinking. He's a 6. We need a 6. We've got a 6. Give him a go. What have we got to lose? He plays bad, say, for 2-3 games. Well, you know what? We're already 5 points behind anyway. What is there to lose? Robbie Fraser, like I said, I've already mentioned Robbie and what a class act he is. For me, the other change I would make is give Big Leon the captaincy. Strip James. Right, this is the manager now. And I think, I can't remember who said this, but I read a comment in one of the things I was reading today, was that, that Phillipe Clement bottled it. He's bottled the James Tavernier situation. For whatever reason, he's scared of James Tavernier. I don't know what it is, what Tavernier's got over him, whatever, right? But this argument that Tav's our captain, so he has to play. Well, let's take that off him. He's not a captain. He's not a leader. He's never been a leader. He's not a leader. No point on Sunday when things were going tits up did he actually step up and prove himself to be a leader. In fact, he spent more time throwing his arms around in the air and blaming other people than actually leading on the park. The guy needs to be taken out of the firing line. He's getting absolutely crucified. And look, this is a guy who in the past has got outstanding numbers for us and has, contributed to this team and, has been a great servant for the club, but he's in danger of becoming a huge hate figure. There's a saying, isn't there? You either know when to, so it's about living long enough to be a hero or die, or living long enough to become a villain, isn't it? It's that saying about that. When you've got to exit, you've got to take your time to exit as a hero rather than live long enough to become a villain. And Tav's becoming a villain very quickly with a lot of supporters. For me, Big Leon, I know he can't play every game, but, you could always give the captaincy to the likes of Suter, to the likes of Proper, to the likes of Butland, Barron, Sterling, etc. But club captain, give it to Leon Balogun. I know he's 36, but he's the best defender at the club. He's the one player who I watch on match days and listen to being interviewed who actually seems to give a shit, who actually genuinely seems to be affected when we lose, who actually seems to care about the club, care about the badge and want to be here. He actually seems to love this club. He actually seems to love these fans. And you know what I mean? For me, Leon, I would give Big Leon the captaincy. I think that would inspire. Big Leon is an inspiration. He's a top man. He's faster than Tav. He's better defensively than Tav. He's fitter than Tav. And yet he's 36 years old, but he's still probably the best defender at the club, which is worrying about our defenders. But overall, for me, Big Leon, I know Big Leon can't play 3 games a week, but like I said, even if, in Europe you have a different captain, you don't have to have the same captain all the time. Teams have shown that. But, in the Scottish League, have Leon, let Leon be the captain. Let him lead. Let him be the club captain, because even if just for this season, and then we look at someone off the park who we can bring up and develop from our squad, or we bring in from outside as a captain. For me, that was never a captain. The guy is he's dying very, very slowly, and it's a horrible death to watch on the pitch. It really is. So that's why for me, I would go with Big Leon as the captain. Look, there's some minor changes. Like I said, I don't think Clement will listen to me for a minute. Tav will start against Dundee United. Dessers will start against Dundee United. We'll play 4-2-3-1, and nothing will change. It's almost a Mike Bassett-esque moment where Clement would sit there and say, Rangers are playing 4-2-3-1, and we'll storm out. It's almost a Bassett-esque moment, isn't it? But look, for me, we've got to start to see some changes. We've got to start to see the manager and the players showing some bottle, showing some heart, showing some... that in terms of the manager, the will to take difficult decisions, to have difficult conversations with people. As a manager, and I'm a manager myself, and I know it's not a football team manager, but as a manager, you have to have times when you have to have difficult conversations with people. You have to do things that you perhaps don't want to do, that you perhaps feel uncomfortable doing, but you've got to do them because that's why you're getting paid the big bucks. Okay, and Clement is certainly getting paid a lot more than I am. Right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. As always, on the way out, if you could smash the like, and remember always, we are the people.